Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This video talks about the claim of the Birmingham University that they have found the oldest Quran in the Birmingham University. Uh, According to the Birmingham University personnel, they put the age of this Quran at 568 Christian era to 645 Christian era, and the age of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is from 570 Christian era to 632 Christian era. So, according to the Birmingham University personnel, the manuscript which they have found at Birmingham University predates the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The method that they have used in deducing this argument is the radiocarbon dating. They have deduced the age of the specimen by radiocarbon dating. There are some problems with this claim. For example, problem number one is that red ink has been used many times in this manuscript, which was not the tradition at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or thereafter until very later. So this appears to be this manuscript appears to be written at the time of Usman bin Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and there's also no evidence to show that the Sahaba or the Tabi'een radiallahu ta'ala anhum have traveled to Europe. So how did this manuscript? Where did this manuscript come from? Did it pop? Why did it pop up from? The Muslims did conquer Europe later in later part of the Islamic kingdom, but it sounds quite unnatural and magical that a Quran comes into existence at the Birmingham University, and a manuscript of the Quran comes into existence at the Birmingham University, and no one ever knew that it was there. It amounts to be a joke. It sounds like a joke that a manuscript has come into being at the Birmingham University. Leaving aside this criticism, let's focus on the main points. The second thing is that in this manuscript, the chapters, the surahs of the Quran are separated by Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, which is again written in red ink, and which was not the tradition at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or before in Arabia. So there was no tradition of using the red ink at the time of the birth of the Prophet, peace be upon him, or during the time of the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. In Arabia, no literature was written ever in red ink, and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim was not used to separate the surahs at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. This is an important fact. So these two facts negate the accuracy of the age determination. The third fact that needs consideration here is that they have dated the hide on which the manuscript is written. They have not dated the ink. So this is nonsense. If you have to know the age when a manuscript was written, you have to date the ink, not the hide, or not the paper on which it has been written. The paper can be very old, or the hide can be very old. For example, the hide can predate the Prophet, peace be upon him, by decades, and it used to be dried, and then verses of the Quran or something else used to be written on it. So it can predate the Prophet, peace be upon him, by many years. So it is utter nonsense to draw conclusions by dating the hide that this manuscript has been written from such and such date. So it's not logical to draw a conclusion that the age of this manuscript is from 568 BC to 568 Christian era to 645 Christian era, just on the assumption that you have dated the hide. Now let's come to the radiocarbon dating. What is the accuracy of it? What is its accuracy? It is a scientific method of the estimation of the age of archaeological specimens. It has some complications, and age. The radiocarbon dating can give you the estimate of the century in which a particular specimen lived. There are many variations uh, that you get when you estimate the age of a specimen. For example, when the age of the Dead Sea Scrolls uh, was estimated, it turned out to be from 4th century BC to 4th century AD. So there's a difference of 1000 years. There's a difference of 1000 years by using the various techniques in radiocarbon dating. So radiocarbon dating gives you a range of 1000 years of the age of the Dead Sea Scrolls. For example, the great Isaiah scroll, which was found in the Dead Sea. So this variation is very large, and it negates the fact that radiocarbon dating will give you an accurate estimate from 568 CE to 645 CE. There are other variations which affect this thing. For example, the amount of carbon 14 in the atmosphere is variable between the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. It is not constant. So if you calculate the age in the southern hemisphere, it will be different from that which has been calculated from the northern hemisphere. Similarly, the amount of carbon dioxide, radiocarbon, that is carbon 14, in the bottom of the sea is lesser than the amount of carbon 14 at the top of the sea, because the top of the sea is in direct contact with the atmosphere and the bottom is not, and mixing of water of the top and the bottom water, it occurs more often at the equator than at other places, and it does not occur too often. So there will be a difference if you calculate the age of a specimen at the top of the sea or at the bottom of the sea. This is one of the variation of the radiocarbon 14 dating method. So it will give, though it gives you to the estimate of the paleontological period that a specimen was from, it cannot give you the accurate year, etc. Again, the accuracy of this radiocarbon dating in the manuscript is said to be 95.4%. So it is 6% inaccurate, 5% inaccurate, almost 4.5% inaccurate. The radiocarbon 14 dating has many other complications also. There's variation in the amount of carbon 14 present in the atmosphere over the surface of Earth also. So in conclusion, radiocarbon 14 dating cannot be used to estimate the accurate year when a particular to which a particular specimen belongs to. Even if it can be used, it has to be used on the ink and not on the manuscript, on the hide that the manuscript is written onto. We will analyze the radiocarbon dating method in a separate video. A detailed analysis of the method will follow. And this is again a try on the part of the atheists or the Christians and the Jews to malign Islam and every other source. It justifies or proves the existence of the Quran, and Quran has been written, revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and written after the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and also during his life, but not in an organized manner. So this is proved from history, and this is proved from innumerable number of sources. So what is aimed by investigating into these matters is that you have to malign Islam. That is the thing, that is the basic thing. And leaving everything aside, if you go into an objective analysis of the facts, that also tells us that the analysis of the Birmingham University is not totally acceptable. So even if this is range is acceptable, for example, from 560 Christian era to 645 Christian era, so it's quite possible that at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him, when he was 40 years old, that is almost in 612 Christian era, that time the Sahaba used to write the words of the Quran on scapulae, on hides, on stones, etc., etc. So it's quite possible that in this era, in this period of time, there will be Quran which has been written on a hide. So it's not necessary that it has been written in. So this period is not 100% accurate. So it is not necessary that it is written before 612 Christian era. So it's quite possible that this period that has been calculated by radiocarbon dating belongs to 612 Christian era to 645 Christian era, 612 to 632 Christian era. So it's quite possible. But they have estimated the age of the hide, and they should estimate the age of the that ink. See you again, inshallah. One more factor that needs consideration here is that when the method of radiocarbon dating is applied, the result is given in the form of a value and a standard deviation, and the standard deviation can be from 100 years to 200 years, or in some cases more than that. So there is hardly any possibility of the accuracy of the result that has been given. So you cannot determine the year to which the specimen belongs to, though you can estimate the geological time scale that the specimen belongs to. So when there are standard deviations of hundreds of years, so there is no question of the ultimate accuracy of this method. For example, in the Dead Sea Scrolls, the estimated age is of 1917 years plus or minus 2200 years. So there is a standard deviation of 200 years. So there is no question of accuracy in this case. Also, I was talking about the estimated age that ranges from 4th century BC to 4th century AD. So this is the article from Wikipedia, but it is dated from 4th century BC to the mid 4th century AD. The extreme measurements that are obtained by the radiocarbon dating were corroborated by an experiment that was done by the British Museum. They estimated the age of a specimen every week, and it turned out to be very different. And the extreme measurements included one with a maximum age of 4,400 years and another with a minimum age of more than 4,500 years. So the variation was 100 years. The specimen was the same. Okay. This was demonstrated in 1970 by an experiment run by British Museum Radiocarbon Laboratory, in which weekly measurements were taken on the same sample for 6 months. The results varied widely and included multiple date ranges that did not overlap with each other. The date ranges that were obtained by using radiocarbon dating on this sample, which was tested weekly for 6 months at the British Museum, they varied widely and the date range did not overlap. There was a variation of 100 years. So this method is by no means accurate.